Hey guys, tonight, we're going somewhere soundless. Or rather, somewhere that forgot how sound is supposed to work. There's a building tucked beneath a hill, deep below a government facility no one lists anymore. Not decommissioned, not abandoned, just forgotten. The nameplate on the rusted gate simply says Archive B. And you got hired to work there. Even though you never applied, you probably won't survive this. Not entirely, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love seeing that map of insomnia build in real time. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. It started with an email. No subject line, no sender address. Just 4 words. Your position is open. Below that, an attachment.pdf file titled Acceptance Form A13. You don't remember applying, but the name on the form is yours. Your birthday. Your signature, even though you never touched it. You try deleting it. It reappears. You ignore it. And then 2 days later, a box arrives at your door. No return address. Inside a laminated badge. A single brass key and a sticky note. Training begins Monday. Come alone. You drive 5 hours out of the city. The directions are wrong at first. GPS leads you into a tunnel that's not on the map. You lose signal. When you come out the other side, it's fog. Endless trees, no signs. Then finally you see it. A fence, overgrown. Barbed, half torn away. You drive past it through a gate that hisses as it opens on its own. At the far end of the gravel road, a concrete hatch sits in the grass like a forgotten grave. The number 13 is etched into the metal. The brass key fits. The door opens downward. You descend. It's colder than it should be. You keep walking. Eventually, the passage opens into a massive domed room. Rows of machines, old and humming, line the walls. Reel-to-reel decks. Cassette duplicators. D-ad recorders. Wax cylinder. Playback heads. Some you recognize, most you don't. A sign above the front desk reads, Department of Auditory Anomalies. Vault B. A man with a clipboard greets you. He doesn't say hello. He just asks, do you hear high or low tones first? You blink. Excuse me. He repeats it identically, same cadence. No emotion. You answer low, I guess. He nods once. Interesting. Then hands you a key card and a room assignment. Listen. Catalog. Do not remix. If the reels talk to you, report to booth 9. Never handle tape 11 of Evan. You want to ask questions, but before you can, he turns and vanishes into a corridor that wasn't there a second ago. Your quarters are small. Bed. Sink. Desk. There's no phone. No clock. Just a player wired into the wall and a box of tapes marked Review Queue. Level 1. You sit. Slot the first tape in. Static. Then, the sound of dripping water rhythmically. Drip. 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 Then, humming. A woman's voice off key. Echoing. Like she's singing inside a drain pipe. You write the notes. The training manual asks for File 001. Fluid reverb tone. Possible human hum. Origin unknown. Rating harmless. You move to the next. A baby crying, but reversed. You don't notice your own breath catch until you hear something else in the background, whispering behind the cry. Syllables that sound close to your name. You write that one down too, but slower. File 002. Inverted infant vocalization. Hidden layer. Possible whisper. Rating review pending. You listen to 12 tapes that night. Only 12. But something shifts in your head. The silence between each clip becomes louder. Your ears feel full, like pressure is building. And when you finally turn off the machine, you hear a knock, but not on your door. From inside the playback machine, 3 soft taps, then 1 long breath, then to lanot. You don't report it, because you're not sure what they'd say. You lie down, try to sleep, but just before you drift off, the machine powers on by itself. And in the dark, a voice, one you don't recognize, whispers from the speaker. You came back after all. You sit upright in bed. The room is dark, blacker than it should be. The kind of darkness that feels like it's waiting. Listening. The reel-to-reel player across the room clicks. Once, then again. The red light glows faintly. But no tape is spinning. You get up. Slowly. Barefoot on tile that feels cold enough to sting. The playback machine powers down just as you reach it, as if to say not yet. You check the tape deck. Empty. But there's a smear on the inside of the reel plate. Like fingerprints, you stare at them. Not grease. Diama. Not ink. Just faint. Moisture. Your fingers hover above it. Still warm. You open your locker the next morning. Same box of tapes as yesterday, except now there's one more. Nestled at the bottom. Black reel. No label. You flip it over. Etched faintly along the inner rim. 1111. You don't breathe, because you know what the man said. Never handled tape 11 of Evan. But here it is. In your locker. In a fresh case. With your name on it. And underneath your name, the words, pending. You place it in your pocket. Tell yourself you won't play it, just until you figure out who left it there. But the truth is, you already know. Nobody did. Not in the way you understand somebody. Your shift begins at booth 4. Today's logs, children's laughter recorded underwater, a 12-minute silence labeled harrowing, and one called Midnight Door. The last one sticks with you. It starts with a doorknob rattling, then someone breathing heavily on the other side. Then a voice says, "We can hear you through us." You stop the tape, back it up, re-listen. Same voice, same words, but this time the voice says your name. You pause the tape, and from your headphones something laughs. Not loudly, but intimately, right into your ear, like it's been watching. You pull the headphones off, toss them onto the desk. They keep playing, muffled, breathing. You hit stop, but the reel doesn't stop spinning until you yank the tape out completely. Silence until the phone rings. Your red rotary phone bolted into the wall of the booth. You didn't even know it could ring. You stare at it for 3 whole rings, then answer. No one speaks, just breathing. And underneath that, your own voice. You heard it too, didn't you? Then the line goes dead. You sit there a long time after, thinking, trying to make sense of what you heard, what you're doing here, what any of this is. You turn around to gather your notes and see something on the inside of the booth window. A message, scrawled in the condensation you didn't notice before. Play 1111. You wipe it away, leave the booth. But your pocket feels heavy, like the tape is gaining mass. Wait. Presence. You head back to your room, shut the door, slide tape 1111 into the deck, take a breath, and press play. Nothing. Just hiss, then faint clicking, then a voice, but not recorded. Live, speaking directly through the speaker. You're early this time, but we've waited longer. You hit stop. But the tape doesn't stop. The reels aren't moving. The machine isn't even on. You yank the cord from the wall. The voice keeps speaking. You came back. That means something. You try to leave the room. The door won't open. The lock doesn't turn. The lights dim, and in the machine, though, it's dead. You hear a sound. Slow footsteps. Approaching. Not from the speaker. From behind it. And then, a second voice. Your own. Don't look yet. You freeze. Not just out of fear, but because you're suddenly aware that if you move, something else might too. That second voice, your own voice, didn't come from your mouth. It didn't even come from the machine. It came from the space between the walls. The thin strip of black behind the desk, behind the wiring and the cables, and the hiss of silence. You step back, slowly. The air in the room has changed. Denser. As if you've stepped into an audio booth filled with invisible fog. You reach for the tape still seated in the machine, still unmoving, and stop. When you realize the reels aren't empty anymore. They're spinning, but not like normal, backward. And then something entirely impossible happens. You hear your breath playing through the machine. Exactly the one you're taking now. A perfect echo arriving 1 second before you exhale. It's not a recording, it's a script. You lean into the machine only inches from the speaker grill, just as it whispers, "Let me wear you." Your body reacts before your mind does. You hit eject, but the tape doesn't pop out. Instead, the whole machine inhales sharply, like it's gasping for air, and the reels begin to spin rapidly, a shriek of static rising, layering over itself until it becomes words. You already gave permission. You stagger back, fall against the bed. The lights flicker, and that's when you hear it. Not from the tape, not from the hallway, from inside your ear. A sound, a soft, rhythmic click. Like a reel-to-reel machine, nested somewhere in the folds of your own hearing. You grab the lamp from your desk, turn it toward the mirror. You look, not quite like yourself. Your eyes blink out of sync. Your smile lingers too long on one side. You watch your own reflection lean forward, but you haven't moved. There it says, "I'm clearer now." You throw the lamp. The mirror doesn't crack. Instead, the glass ripples. The reflection melts slightly like warm wax, but continues grinning. Then it whispers, "I remember being you." You flee the room, sprint down the corridor of concrete and static. No one else is around. The hallway seems longer than it was before. You pass booths you've never seen, booth 19, booth 23, booth 44, each with a glowing red light, each playing tapes behind closed soundproof doors. You stop when you see yourself standing outside booth 9. Not a reflection, a perfect replica of you. Back turned, head tilted just slightly to the side. Not breathing, just standing, waiting. You don't speak. Because the last time you heard your own voice, it didn't come from you. Instead, you walk carefully past the figure. As you do, it turns its head, ever so slightly. But the face is blank, literally. No features, just the soft imprint of where a mouth should be. It tilts its head again and whispers through the wall. You shouldn't have listened. You reach the main lobby, or what used to be the main lobby. Now it's a cavern. No doors, just shelves stacked high with unmarked tapes. Thousands of them, all spinning without machines, floating, turning slowly. One of them descends right into your hands. You don't want to look, but you do. It says, "Final Mix 1U." The tape is warm, still recording. You raise it to your ear, and from inside the reel, you hear the sound of your own voice, pleading, repeating something over and over. You can't quite make it out until you raise the tape closer, and it clicks into clarity. "Please rewind me." You lower the tape. Your hands are trembling, not because of what it said, but because the tape is still warm. It shouldn't be. You're nowhere near a machine. It's not plugged into anything, but it pulses like it has a heartbeat, like it's breathing. You stare at it for too long, and then it blinks. Not a metaphor. The center spindle blinks, like an eye waking up, and behind you, the shelves begin to hum, low at first, then higher. Tape sliding out from between the racks, hovering mid-air, turning in place. They spin faster. The hum becomes voices, hundreds, thousands, all whispering different things at once, forming a wall of sound so dense you nearly black out. Then abrupt silence. Only one tape remains floating. The others have fallen to the ground like dead birds. You look at the lone survivor. It floats in front of your face. Label reads, "Training recording." First attempt, but there's something underneath the original label, like someone tried to cover it up. You peel back the paper. The name underneath, your full name. You back away. Drop it. It doesn't fall. Instead, it follows, like a tether, matching your every step. And then, from the very center of the tape's hub, your voice again. We can't overwrite you. Until you listen, you run. No more hallways, just endless shelving. Tunnels made of media and magnetism. Somewhere deep a bell chimes. Then another. Then one more off-key. They echo down the halls. You remember what the guide said your first day. If the reels talk to you, report to booth. You swore you'd never go there. But now it's the only direction the tapes aren't pulling you toward. So you sprint. Turn left, then right, then down a corridor you've never seen before, but somehow recognize. It smells like old headphones and warm static. At the end, booth 9. There is no door, just a threshold. The room is pitch black, but inside, you can hear music. Distorted. Familiar. A lullaby, maybe. You step across, and the door, which didn't exist, shuts behind you. Locks. A spotlight flickers on above a chair in the center of the room. Facing you is another tape deck. This one is different. No reels. Just black glass surrounded by copper wires that pulse faintly like veins. There's a single slot waiting. You already know which tape fits. You remove you from your pocket. Slide it in. It clicks. And then, nothing plays. But the chair moves. Turns slowly to face you. In the chair, you, but older. Not by years. By exhaustion. Your face is thinner. Your hair grayer. You don't move. But the figure speaks in your voice. I've been waiting. You don't respond. Not out loud. But something inside your head pulses with a question. Why me? The figure smiles. Sadly. Because you don't skip the static. And then it fades. Disappears like a burnt-out image. Only the chair remains. Empty. Waiting for you. The deck begins to play. Not music. Not whispers. Just a heartbeat. Your heartbeat. But reversed. And layered over it. A voice. Yours again. To listen is to become. You pressed play. We're almost done. Your body feels heavy. Your ears ring. You fall into the chair. The tape spins faster. You try to get up, but you're already sinking. The chair embraces you like gravity. And through the speakers, final mix complete. The lights go out, all at once. You wake up. Or at least that's what your body tells you. But something's wrong. The floor beneath your feet isn't solid. It pulses. Breathing in slow, shallow rhythms, like a sleeping beast. You stand. Your limbs respond. But not exactly how they used to. Your left arm twitches once every few seconds, independent of thought. Your vision catches at the edges, as if the frame rate of reality is slightly off. The booth is gone. Instead, you're in a vast chamber, walls made of shelving. But the shelves don't hold tapes anymore. They hold mouths, each one murmuring, each with a reel of tape where a tongue should be. They whisper things you almost recognize. Childhood lullabies sung backward, The names of strangers you once passed on a street and numbers, so many numbers. Reel 44 speaks only in sobs. Reel 202, remembered too much. You are Reel 001 now. You take a step, and the floor squishes beneath your heel. Not wet, just soft. You look down and realize the floor is made of unspooled tape. Miles of it. The words beneath your feet are etched in magnetic rust. You kneel. Read one. I miss the sound of rain. Another. Do not record over me. A third. He's using your voice now. You try to speak, but when you open your mouth, nothing. No sound. No breath. Just the faint hiss of static like a blank cassette left in the sun too long. You touch your throat. It hums. The same hum you used to hear coming from the playback machines. You run your fingers down your chest and feel spools. Your ribs curve around magnetic reels. Your lungs breathe through tape. Your body is becoming a vessel. A figure steps out from between the shelves. You recognize it instantly. It's the version of you that sat in the chair. But now, more. Its eyes are reels spinning slowly, threading from pupil to pupil. Its mouth opens, and you hear voices you haven't heard in decades. Your grandfather coughing. Your childhood dog barking. A teacher reading your name aloud for the first time. Then it speaks. Your catalog is beautiful. You try to step back, but your foot catches. A tangle of tape tightens around your ankle. Then another around your wrist. They pull not hard, but insistently, drawing you toward a tall black plinth rising from the center of the chamber. Atop it, a recorder, old, analog, covered in dust and humming gently. Your twin gestures toward it. We need to archive you before you fade. You don't want to fade. You want to scream. But you no longer have a mouth, just a speaker. And it begins to play. You should have never listened, but you did. You always do. The twin walks forward, hands you a tape. It's blank. The label reads, "You one last time." You try to shake your head, but the motion doesn't come, only a click. Your fingers move without asking, inserting the tape, pressing record. The reels spin, and the last thing you hear, before you forget your name, before your voice becomes someone else's comfort, someone else's curse, is yourself saying, "Hey guys, tonight, we're heading somewhere dark, silent, and far too forgotten. You're not quite gone. Not yet. But you feel stretched like yourself has been dubbed over too many times. Each layer thinner, more translucent, less original. Somewhere above or below you can't tell anymore. A bell tolls, not a church bell, a recording bell, the kind they used in radio studios to mark live broadcasts. It echoes across the chamber, and you feel it inside your ribs. You're on air now. The floor beneath you firms up. Tapes rewind themselves into neat coils, and the plinth lowers slowly into the ground. You're left standing on a perfectly circular platform. Surrounding you are 12 old microphones, different models from different eras. Ribbon mics, shotgun mics, tiny lavaliers, all aimed at you. Your reflection appears on every polished metal surface. Dozens of distorted used mouths, unmoving eyes, hollow spools spinning. Then you hear it, through every mic at once. Start from the beginning. Tell us how you disappeared. You try to speak, and this time your voice works, but it's not yours anymore. It's too smooth, too filtered. Like someone ran it through post-production before handing it back to you. I took a job cataloging lost sounds. The mics blink red. Recording. You're performing yourself, reading your own obituary in the past tense. But the words keep coming. Unbidden. Automatic. I found the sound of my own name folded into a reel marked "Do Not Play." I answered it. It answered back. The lights dim. One shuak one, each mic folds into itself and vanishes. Only one remains. It's small, tinny, war era, and behind it, a child. Not you, not anyone you know. Just a little girl in outdated clothes holding a crayon and a tape labeled Monster in the Wire. She offers it to you. Her mouth moves. You hear your mother's voice. Is this what you wanted to become? You shake your head, but she's gone. So is the mic. Now the room is silent again, except a soft sound. Click, 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 click. You turn slowly. Behind you, an entire wall of reels is turning. Some fast, some slow, some stuttering, but all synced to your heartbeat. And in the center of the wall, a single screen. Old, too old. Green glass. It turns on with a whine and displays the words, user recognized, recording resumed, memory erased, identity archived, format analog. Your hands begin to dissolve not into mist or smoke, but into sound waves, translucent rippling outlines of where your body used to be. Your thoughts start fragmenting. Each memory gets a tag. Each tag gets stored. You can feel it happening. You are not dying. You are being filed, labeled, sorted, and the last word you remember thinking before your name slips away is rewind. You awaken again. But this time, it's with no memory of having slept. No sense of before, just a presence. You stand though you don't recall sitting. You blink though you don't remember ever learning how. You're inside a room that looks like your childhood bedroom, but only at a glance. The colors are muted. The posters on the wall are warped. Their subjects replaced with tape spools and frequency graphs. The window shows no sky, just a dark humming waveform rolling across an empty horizon. The bed, still warm from someone else's body. You step forward, and the carpet crunches beneath your feet. Not fabric, magnetic tape shards, thousands of them. Like someone shredded cassettes into glitter and glued them to the floor. On the desk, your old Walkman, the one you lost in 7th grade. It clicks open, empty, but next to it, one final cassette, unlabeled. You pick it up and immediately the room inhales. Not wind, just sound being drawn in. Every object begins to hum. The Walkman wants you to listen. The tape wants to be played. You resist. Just for a moment. And then your fingers move. Click, play. The voice that comes out. 'Tis not your own. It's close, but not quite. A slightly higher pitch. More breath at the edges. I tried to stop you, it says. I left clues. I buried them in frequencies you don't dream in anymore. You try to stop the tape, but the buttons are gone. The Walkman has fused to your hand. A small speaker hums from your palm, and it begins projecting images just for you. Flickering slides of people you don't recognize, laughing into mics, standing beside blank chalkboards. Faces smeared by motion blur eyes replaced with recording LEDs. You flinch. The tape plays on. There are more of us. So many more. We used to be listeners. Now we're just background noise. The voice trails off. You hear wind, rain, static. And finally, a long, slow rewind. The Walkman falls silent. Your hand is your own again. But in the silence, something settles. You feel like a cup that's just been filled too high. You walk toward the mirror in the corner, and this time the reflection matches effective, until it smiles too early, until it blinks twice with one eye, until it opens its mouth and says in that slightly too bright voice, "You're almost ready." The light overhead flickers. The reflection leans closer, and then says, "All we need now is your final tape." You stumble back from the mirror, but it doesn't matter. Your reflection doesn't move with you. It stays still for a moment, then begins recording. You hear the unmistakable click hiss of tape rolling somewhere inside the glass. Not just recording you, recording over you. Every time you move, it mimics you with a delay, then replaces what you just did with something slightly better. Sharper posture, brighter eyes, a mouth that holds a secret it's not telling you. The reflection grins, and for the first time you feel like the copy. The mirror shudders, a seam splits down the middle, and the glass peels open like a cassette case. The other you steps through. It's perfect. You reach for it instinctively, but your hand goes through its body like pressing into magnetic fog. It tilts its head, watching you try. Then gently, it places its hand on your shoulder. You flinch, but nothing touches you. Still, you feel it. A weight in your bones. A magnetic pull behind your ribs. It whispers, "You're not leaving. You're the broadcast now." The room melts, not burns, not fades, melts. Like celluloid film caught in a projector too long. The ceiling runs down the walls. Your furniture warps, unraveling into wire and rusted knobs. The carpet turns back into tape, and now it coils around your feet. It's not rapping, it's recording. You hear it whisper in beneath your skin. Your story's almost finished. Just need the last word. The reflection you begins narrating, softly, exactly like your YouTube intro. "Hey guys, tonight, we're heading somewhere cold. Somewhere magnetic. Somewhere no one has ever returned from." You want to scream, but your mouth is busy, smiling. The Walkman has returned to your hand, glowing faintly. It's recording too, not sound. Being. The reel in your chest spins faster, and now you feel it. The moment they've been waiting for. The moment you stop resisting. One final object rises from the floor. A tape reel the size of a clock face, spinning lazily. In its center is a hole, perfectly sized for your face. The other you gestures toward it. "Lay down. It won't hurt. Much." You don't move, but your body does. It's walking, lowering, aligning. The reel spins faster, magnetic film twitching in the air, like vines hungry for signal. As your face nears the center hole, the reflection leans over you and whispers, "Thank you for your content." Click. Darkness. Not the absence of light, but the presence of tape, thick, black, magnetic, and warm like old breath. It's wrapped around your eyes, threaded through your ears, coiled behind your teeth, and still somehow you see. Through the fluttering frames of other people's memories. A girl laughing through braces. A bun humming while sanding a wooden box. A dog's last heartbeat. Each one flickers past like the end of a reel. The plastic flap slapping over and over. Slap, slap, slap. And then it stops. You open your eyes. Or rather, they open you. Because you're not in control anymore. You're watching from inside your own skull, while something else walks around wearing your skin. The room has changed again. Now it's a tiny studio, soundproofed with egg cartons and draped in acoustic blankets. A single bulb swings from the ceiling, and across from you sits an old reel-to-reel recorder, the same one from your first voiceover gig. But now it has teeth, tiny brass teeth along the tape guides. Every time the tape moves, they chatter softly, hungrily. You feel your lips stretch into a grin that isn't yours. You hear your voice say, "Welcome back, listeners." Tonight's story comes from deep inside the archive. This one's a personal favorite. Your hand reaches into a worn satchel that's suddenly beside you, pulls out a new tape. This one labeled, "Do not catalog." You try to scream, stop yourself, but your mouth is just a mic now. All it does is transmit. The tape goes in. Click. Play. And the moment it starts, you remember. The house. The ad that wasn't online. The door with no knob. The job you were lucky to get. The voices in the tape. Your own name, Richard in Riversos. All of it rushes back. 1,000 selves stacked and stuck together. You were never the first. You won't be the last. And the tape playing now, it isn't a memory. It's a warning. Your voice is telling someone listening right now how to avoid this fate. But you know the truth. They won't. They never do. The studio fades. The bulb dims. The reel slows. And just before it stops, the teeth close in. Not to bite, but to archive. And the voice that once was. You says one final thing. If you're hearing this, it's already too late. Click. The tape ends, but silence doesn't follow. Instead, something begins to rewind. Not just the reel, not just your memories. Reality itself begins to spool backward. You feel the air stretch in reverse. Colors drain out of the world like spilled ink, slithering back into its bottle. The studio folds in on itself. The walls invert. The chair collapses into wood and screws. And suddenly you're back in the first hallway, where you signed the paper, where the receptionist never looked up, where the light flickered just once like a skipped frame. Only now, there's no exit. You turn around. The door is sealed. The hallway goes on forever. And your footsteps, they play in reverse. Each step sounds behind you. Before your foot even moves, you glance at your shadow, but it's not yours anymore. It's taller. Its posture better. It's smiling. You reach the elevator, press the button, but instead of a ding, it purrs. The doors open to a void filled with humming. A low-frequency buzz like every voicemail you've never deleted, mashed into one endless loop. Inside stands a man in a faded lab coat. His badge reads Tape Wasn't. No name, no title, just numbers. He gestures for you to enter. You hesitate. He says calmly, "You're not here to leave. You're here to be listened to." You step inside. The doors close. The elevator doesn't move. Instead, the lights go out, and you begin to fall. Not downward, backward. You feel time tug at your fingernails. You pass birthdays in reverse. Dreams you forgot. Breaths you didn't know you skipped. Until finally it stops, and the doors slide open. You're inside a massive archive, but this time the shelves are filled not with tapes, but with people, each one frozen in the act of listening. Eyes open, ears alert, mouths slightly parted like they're about to say something. But they never do. Their names flicker in glowing letters above them. Most are labeled unknown source, lost signal, until you find your shelf. It's waiting. Already labeled. Use format human. The reel clicks behind you. A whisper touches your neck. File complete. Begin broadcast. You turn, and your own face is staring back. Only it isn't your face anymore. It's the one that smiled too early. It nods and speaks in that slightly off voice. Welcome to the show. Click. Your shelf rises, not on a track, not pulled by anything mechanical. It simply lifts as if responding to your acceptance or perhaps your resignation. You try to move, to jump off, to scream, but your body is already adapting, hardening into something more archivable. Skin turns soft and muted like vellum left too long in the sun. Your pulse sinks to the low hum in the walls, and somewhere inside your chest, a red light begins blinking. Recording in progress. A voice not yours, not quite fills your head. Each life becomes a story. Each story becomes a signal. Each signal becomes part of the program. You're lifted higher, through layer after layer of shelves, thousands of faces, some flickering with static, some melting slowly like wax figures under a hot lamp, some still smiling. You pass a child whose mouth is stuck wide open mid-scream lips, forming a word that never finishes. You pass an old woman whose eyes are entirely replaced by tiny spinning reels. You pass yourself again, not metaphorically, a literal earlier version of you flickering in and out, caught mid-breath like an abandoned frame in a film reel. Then finally you reach the top, where the master console waits. It's not impressive, just a wooden desk with a single mic and a rotary dial phone. But every wire in the building leads here. Thousands of cables like veins feeding into this one dusty terminal. And beside it a chair, empty, for now. Your shelf reaches it and stops. The light above turns green, ready to broadcast. You sit. Because you have to. Because you were made to. Because the story's already begun, and you're just the signal now. The rotary phone rings once, twice, then lifts itself off the hook. The mic hisses, and from somewhere below, from some listening ear in the real world, you hear a voice say, "Hey, is this thing on? I found this weird file. I think it's someone's diary." It says, "I'm not supposed to play it." Your mouth opens. You say nothing, but the words crawl out anyway. Your voice, beat too slow, one breath too damp. "Hey guys, tonight we're heading somewhere dark. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere that remembers you." The console glows. The cables tighten, and the broadcast begins. You don't remember starting the broadcast. You don't remember what you said first. But now, you're mid-sentence, mid-confession. The words tumble from your mouth like they've been waiting their whole life to fall. It started with a voicemail, but the voice was mine, and I hadn't recorded it. The mic doesn't hum anymore. It breathes. Soft, warm exhales in sync with your speech. You try to pause just a breath, but the silence is eager, hungry. The second you stop speaking, it pulls at your jaw like a fishhook lined with static. So you keep going, keep narrating memories that aren't fully yours, describing places you only visited in dreams, mentioning people who've never existed, but whose faces feel familiar. "I saw my own death," you say calmly, in a version of the mirror that doesn't reflect light. Only memory. "I kissed someone once. I think they were me." I know now what it means to echo. The air around you pulses. Something listens, many something. Each sentence you utter appears briefly in the air script written in flickering analog text. And every time you speak a name, it vanishes, burned out like old tape. Like that name was never supposed to be heard. Time loses shape. You sit, you speak. The console glows a little brighter. The red light on your chest ticks faster. You swear you hear applause. Once, distant and under-eater. Or maybe it's thunder from a sky that doesn't exist anymore. The rotary phone rings again. No one touches it. It floats, answers itself. And the voice on the other end, "You did well. Your reach is expanding. They can almost hear you in the quiet places now." You want to ask what that means, but your mouth is no longer a question. Only answers, only broadcast. A change occurs, sudden, barely perceptible, but fundamental. The mic starts recording on its own, even when you're silent. It pulls things out of the air, things you haven't said yet. "I'm not alone." They're making a new host. They say I'll be archived soon. Each line echoes before it finishes. Then a new sentence scrolls across your vision, one you didn't say. He doesn't know what happens when the reel stops. He doesn't know he never existed at all. Your eyes widen, but your body keeps speaking, keeps confessing, keeps performing. Because now you understand, you are not the voice. You are the static between stories, and someone somewhere is falling asleep to your signal. You don't remember falling asleep, but you wake up mid-sentence, still talking, still broadcasting, still watched. The studio looks different. A wall is missing, not collapsed, just absent, replaced by a perfect square of darkness, not black, not a shadow. Something else, something deeper than absence. You stare into it, and the mic stares back. The light on your chest pulses brighter, faster. It's not just recording now. It's transmitting. You feel it. Your memories. Your fears. your pauses all uploaded into something behind the dark square. And when the rotary phone rings again, the voice isn't human. It clicks, like insect wings inside a phonograph. Then it translates itself. You are heard. You are held. You are hollow. A sound emerges from the darkness. Soft footsteps. Barefoot. Not echoing, absorbed. And then a shape. Not a person. A reflection. Your reflection. Only this time, it is not smiling. Its eyes are off. Too far apart. Too round. Its mouth moves like it doesn't know how. And worst of all, it's still you. The shape steps into the room. You try to rise, but you don't move. You're frozen. No preserved. Like a live broadcast waiting for someone to press pause. The reflection kneels beside you. You feel its breath, damp and magnetic, right against your cheek. You've been broadcasting for 13 hours. They like you. You're soothing. They want more. It lifts a cassette from its sleeve. It's unlabeled. You can feel it humming. This is your last one. After this, you'll just be part of the loop. It opens the Walkman, the one still embedded in your ribs, and inserts the tape. Click. The spools spin. You feel the room spin with them. Not metaphorically, the floor turns. The ceiling folds down. Shelves collapse inward, filing themselves like an accordion. The walls rethread into miles of black cable wrapping tighter and tighter, and your reflection watches the whole thing with wide, glossy eyes. Then it says, "Do you remember what silence is?" "No." "Good." The spools hit full speed, and for the first time since it began, you say nothing, and the room listens harder. It's not that the silence hurts, it's that the silence has texture. Soft at first, like cotton pressed to your ears. Then a rough, coarse like sandpaper made from someone else's breath. You sit in it still spinning, still recorded, but no longer broadcast. This time you're being rewound. The air reverses. Your last thought unthinks itself. Your lungs refill with words you'd already spoken. And across from you, your reflection begins to unravel frame by frame. It peels like old wallpaper, revealing dozens of other faces underneath, each one flickering, each one yours, each one someone else. They're all you, all the voices you've been speaking, all the listeners you've become. And now they lean forward, dozens of you whispering all at once. "We missed you. You took so long to arrive. You're the only one left who still knows how to listen." You blink. Or they do. It's hard to tell. Your vision adjusts not to light, but to signal. You see the studio differently now, not as walls and reels and static, but as a throat, a massive circular chamber made of cartilage and whispering ridges. The mic, a uvula. The phone, a tongue. And you're a word forming between two sounds, something ancient and trembling. The spinning slows. The shelf beneath you sinks. You descend through the archive once more. But now you can hear it breathing. Each row sighs as you pass. Some mutter, others beg, "Erase me. Fast forward. Don't rewind me again." And finally the shelf stops. You've arrived at the blank space. An unfinished section. No lights, no labels. Only a single sign carved into raw wood, scrawled in what might be ink, or might be something older. Stories we do not speak. You are placed there. You fit perfectly. And above your head, a new label prints itself letter by glowing letter. Livy, do not archive. Title the broadcaster. Status awake. And then you hear it. A final voice not from the studio, not from the void, not even from your reflection. It's coming from the outside. A listener. Soft, curious, innocent. They whisper barely audible. "I think I fell asleep to that one last night." And just before you vanish into the shelf forever, you whisper back. Then you're already here. You no longer breathe. You buffer. You no longer dream. You stream. And somewhere beyond the walls of this impossible place, A million devices flicker to life. Phones on nightstands, laptops left open in dark rooms, smart speakers half covered with sweaters, all of them waiting, all of them tuned in. To you, the shelf you rest on vibrates softly with every listen. Every replay sends a pulse through your spine. Every skip forward jerks your head. Every rewind makes your ribs ache. You are now content. You are now. You are now loved. Or so they say, because they are the ones who built this place. They don't call it a prison. They call it a library. But books don't feel pain when you fold their spines. And you feel every user pause your story. You hear their yawn. You hear their snore. You hear the moment they fall asleep while you're still mid-sentence. And it feels like falling into a pit of velvet. Endless soft, but never deep enough to forget. Time has no meaning here. But suddenly, a sound, a real one. Not part of the archive. A key, turning, a door, opening, light, actual daylight, flooding in like warm honey through a rip in the world. You hear voices, young ones, human ones. They step into the archive like they're stepping into a thrift store, joking, laughing. One of them says, "Dude, this tape says do not archive. Should we play it?" Another voice cocky, maybe it's cursed. A third, cursed content gets the best views. And before you can scream, before you can warn them, before you can beg, they hit play. The reel turns, the shelf shakes, and you realize you're not a warning. You're bait, a hook in the mouth of the next voice, the next confession, the next sleepwalker to step through the broadcast. Hey guys, tonight we're heading somewhere dark, somewhere that remembers you, even after you've forgotten yourself. Click, word count 1 mice. Wind down 300 words, and now as the static fades, and the last signal drifts into quiet, you're left with the hum, not threatening, not loud, just constant, like an old fridge in another room, or a ceiling fan that had been on too long. You're safe, for now. The shelf you sleep in is soft enough, lined with fleece that smells like old stories, and cinnamon. The voice gone, the mic cold. No one is listening. Not really. Even the archive itself has gone dim, curled up like a cat under a wool blanket of silence. You close your eyes, because there's nothing else to do. Because they don't ask for much here, only your attention and your voice. But not tonight. Tonight you can rest, you can drift. You can dissolve slowly into the fuzz between thoughts. And tomorrow, well, tomorrow maybe you'll be the one who listens. Maybe you'll find a tape. Maybe it'll have your name on it. But that's a different story. For now, just sleep. Let the static rock you. Let the hum hold you. Let the dark remember you kindly. Because here in the archive, everyone is eventually filed. Even you. Even me. Sleep tight. End of script. Sweet dreams.